Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Slayer back here again with another video, man. Today I'm going to be picking up where I left off in my video, what led up to me drinking myself into oblivion every single day. If you guys haven't went and checked out that video, please go check that out because, yeah, I'm picking up right where I left off. I covered ages 18 through 23 in that video, and now I'm going to cover 23 to present day. For any of you guys that are wondering, I now have over a month sober, over a month since my last drink. And about the sickness, I went to the doctor, guys. No pneumonia or anything. He just said that I have a bad virus. So hopefully I'll be feeling better because I'm still feeling pretty under the weather. I won't lie. So let's just go ahead and hop right into this video, man. So where I left you guys off, I was 23 years old, totally devastated, totally broken, 100% knee deep in alcoholism, drowning, really, when I look back on it. I'm lucky that I'm alive today, guys, because this was the time period where I really didn't care. I did the most dangerous drinking of my life. Even these last relapses, when it comes to the amounts that I was drinking, is not as dangerous as what I did during this time. I was reckless. And I was just a dangerous person, man. I was a scary individual, especially once shit hit the fan, so to speak. So yeah, man, I was 23 years old, drinking every single day. I had given up on life, guys. I really did. I felt like I had lost everything worth living. I couldn't see my way out of the alcoholism. I lost the love of my life. My brother, who I considered my closest friend, was now out of the picture. And I was just a ball of hate. I wrote down right here, going insane. I really did feel like I was losing my mind. There was times where I was losing grip on reality. I would get so intoxicated that I would have conversations with people that weren't even there. There's multiple videos, and maybe one day I'll show you guys some of the videos of me talking to invisible beings when I'm, a bottle and a half deep of Southern Comfort 100 proof. It's embarrassing, it's scary. I kind of shared with you guys the one time I was hanging out with that chick and I jumped out of the car thinking that Blood and Crip gang members were coming after me. Delusions, man. Absolutely delusional, out of my mind, no sense. I was losing grip. I really was. And isolation, that came with it. The beginning of being 23 was nothing but isolation. Drink, isolate. Drink, isolate. Drink, pass out, get up, go do it again, sitting outside of the liquor store at 5:30 a.m., shaking, sweating profusely, throwing up on the side of my car, just waiting for that liquor store to open up. And that was my life. That's what I lived for years. That's what I lived. That was what my life consisted of. In and out of jobs just to make enough money so I could keep fueling my madness. That's all I really cared about. I was out for revenge at this time. I was obsessed. And in denial all at the same time. I was very much in denial about what had taken place with my ex. I was vengeful. I kept coming up with all these different plots and schemes, especially when I was drinking, about how I would get back at them and I'm gonna do this and, I'm gonna, all this just crazy shit, man, that I would never come up with and think maybe I would come up with think of some of it when I'm sober if I was angry enough. But really thinking about, acting on some of these just crazy thoughts that I was having. I was in, a lot of anxiety and pain. Anybody that came across me, I just messed up their life. That's how it was. I remember, and I've brought this up before, that Dirk Delirium, rest in peace, brought up that it didn't matter if he met you for 5 minutes or 5 years. When he was in active addiction at his worst, it would somehow kind of ruin your life as well. And that's kind of how I was, man. Nobody wanted to be around me, and I couldn't blame anybody. And so when several months went by, it was probably about 6 months of just nothing but drinking like a fish, drinking myself into oblivion, total destruction, that I thought to myself, well, you know what I can do to get back at my ex and to feel better about myself is that I can just start getting on some of these dating apps and I can start meeting women again, going out to the bars and stuff. And of course that ended in nothing but disaster. That's what I started to do. I started to go to bars and got kicked out of probably 85% of them because I would just get completely wasted and make a fool out of myself or be loud. It ended up probably, I'd say 85% of the time, me getting thrown out of the bar, just making a giant scene, getting into a fight with somebody. I'm not that type of person, guys. I'm really not that much of like a confrontational type of dude. It's like I've said, I'm pretty chill, but when I was drinking and going to these bars, trying to meet chicks and stuff, I didn't care. Anybody that looked at me the wrong way, I would snap on them. And I remember I was blackout drunk at this one bar, and I saw this chick, and this is what all my friends said to me. Apparently I thought that it was my ex-girlfriend, and it wasn't. And I walked up to this chick and like was like, yo, hey, and she turned around and it wasn't her. I was so drunk out of my mind I couldn't even tell. So I was like having a conversation with her like, yo, what have you been up to? Like, why did you do this? Meanwhile, her boyfriend is standing right there, and I remember he came up to me and he got all in my face. He was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? We got a problem? I just kind of stared at him. Like, I don't even remember any of this. Apparently my friends had to come and grab me. And like 5 dudes, I guess, were over there like talking about me, like plotting on me to come and get me. So the manager of the bar and it, like overheard these guys talking, and they kicked me out. They came over and they're like, dude, you gotta go. People are out to get you, so you gotta get out of here. I remember getting kicked out of there. And I was just hooking up with these chicks, and I would get drunk and then hit up like girls that I hadn't talked to in 6 years. I remember this one chick I hit up and I almost got her pregnant, just being reckless, being drunk. I remember she picked me up and we were in her car, and nothing good came of that. Put 2 and 2 together, she almost got pregnant. It was a really close call. I almost became a father. And if I would have became a father at that time, guys, man, it would have been really, really bad. Maybe it would have woken me up. I always used to say that when I was really bad in my addiction, I used to say that I think maybe becoming a father would have woken me up out of that. But if it didn't, that would have been disastrous, man. I had no business being a father. I started hanging out with this other girl. We got pretty close. We became friends, but I only liked her as a friend. And to be honest, guys, I was being a scumbag. I was using her for booze. She would come pick me up. I'd have her pick us up a whole bunch of alcohol, and I liked her as a friend, but I didn't like her any more than that. And the second that I pretty much said no to that altogether, she was out. She ended up going and messaging my ex-girlfriend, causing all this drama, which that was a complete pain. Then the incident with my brother and him getting the DUI happened. I said this before, guys. I was with both of my brothers. So I have 2 older brothers, then I have the younger brother. I was with both of my older brothers when they got their DUIs. Both of them have suffered with alcoholism. And I'm just bad luck or something, man, because I think it's interesting that I was with both of them when that took place. But I remember one day we were hanging out completely and entirely wasted, blackout drunk, taking shots of 100 proof, just getting obliterated. And my brother and me wanted to go get more booze, and my dad was over. He kept saying, don't go do it, don't go do it. And my brother used to always say, and this is what happens, man. This was karma, whatever you want, judgment, whatever you want to say, man. This came back to bite him, but he used to always say, I'm the best drunk driver. Have you ever met a friend or a buddy who's a big drinker who says that? My brother used to say that all the time. And that's what he said to my dad. He's like, I got this. There's nothing to worry about. I'm going to drive us down there, get us there in one piece, and everything's going to be fine. When alcohol's involved, man, that's never the case. That might happen 5% of the time. So me and him, being the degenerates that we were, we decided to go, and he was driving. We got into his car, and about halfway down to the gas station, it wasn't that far away from our place, but about halfway down to the gas station, I lost all contact with him. Like, you guys ever been around somebody, and I was extremely drunk myself, but have you guys ever been around somebody who's so drunk that their eyes turn completely black and you're just talking to an empty vessel? That's what happened with my brother about halfway there. I knew it was bad. We ended up pulling up to the gas station. We made it there somehow, thank God. And we pulled into the parking spot, and he ran in and got the booze, which I remember thinking I was shocked that they actually sold him any. And got into his car. He had like 12 or 13 shooters of like those 99 proof vodka shooters, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you do. And as he was pulling out, so he's parked in this parking spot and he's pulling out. And when he pulled out, as he started to turn this way, there was a car parked right next to us, and his car just like sideswiped it and left this giant mark right on the side. And the lady is standing outside pumping her tires up with air, and she sees all of it go down, and my brother's just pulling out slowly as it happens, and she's sitting there screaming. And I remember hearing her go, "What the fuck?" And my brother, he's gone. My brother didn't even hear her, I don't think so. He's just slowly pulled back out, and he ends up taking off, man. And so when he pulls out of the drive, one of the things that I noticed when he was pulling out is that this truck that was parked there it just zooms out of the parking spot in front of the gas station. And as we're leaving the gas station, this guy comes flying around. He goes around the gas pumps and he's hauling ass in this truck. And as we go back into like this little neighborhood area, this dude comes right up on our ass and starts riding right on our ass. He's throwing his arm out. He's telling us, pull over, pull over. And eventually about, I don't know, we maybe drove for 5 minutes, and me and my brother, I was like, you need to pull over, dude. Like, pull over, see what this guy wants. We're so intoxicated. I'm so intoxicated that I think that I'm just going to fight this dude. I'm just going to beat this guy up. I mean, who cares, right? Man, it always ends bad. So we end up pulling it over in this neighborhood, and this guy comes flying behind us, and he stops, and he's maybe 20 feet away from where we are. I jump out of the passenger seat first, and I approach this dude. Again, I'm going to go whoop this guy. Who is this dude following us, I start walking up towards him, and when I start to approach him, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is your problem? And he tells me, he's like, I'm an off-duty police officer. Yeah, he was like, I'm an off-duty police officer. And so the moment that he says that he's an off-duty police officer, I'm done. I'm not going to get into any more confrontations with this dude. That's it. I'm not going to fight this guy. Are you kidding me? You're just asking for jail. So he continues to approach my brother's car, and he's still in there. And so he comes up, and I'm like just watching all this go down. And I'm screaming to my brother. I'm like, yo, he's an off-duty police officer. He's an off-duty police officer. He goes up to my brother's car door, opens the car door, and my brother, not listening, not paying attention, jumps out and tackles this off-duty police officer. Yes, he tackles the off-duty police officer. All chaos broke out, man. There was people standing around in the neighborhood taking videos of this shit. Like, I saw a video afterwards. There was old ladies screaming and stuff. He tackles this off-duty police officer. They go down. My brother's so drunk, he was like moving in slow motion. So immediately this cop, he was a pretty big dude, takes my brother and flips him around. And I run over. I'm trying to de-escalate the situation, man. And keep in mind, dude, I'm 3 sheets to the wind. I have no business trying to regulate a situation, but I was more sober than he was. So I run over there. I jump down. I try to calm the situation down. Eventually, we kind of get the situation to calm down, but a whole bunch of police officers showed up. I thought we were both going to jail, but he ended up getting taken off in handcuffs the entire time. He's screaming, "Fuck you, pigs. Fuck you." Again, he wouldn't have done any of this if he wasn't drunk, but alcohol turns us into monsters. That's just what alcohol does. And so he gets hauled off into the back of the police cruiser, and he's banging his head on the window, screaming at him. I'm standing out there. Meanwhile, my dad has been called, so he comes down on the scene, and he's there, checking it all out. And something that was crazy to me, I was obviously very intoxicated. Very, very intoxicated. And these police officers came up to me, and they're like, well, here's the car keys, and here's the bag of shooters. They gave me my brother's car keys and the bag of shooters. I'm not even kidding you guys. I thought that they would have taken that away or something, but no, they give me 13 shots and the car keys, and they're like, take the car home. I'm sitting there completely confused out of my mind, man. We were super close to the house, so maybe that's what they were thinking. I'm not sure, but I ended up pulling up to the house, and my brother got taken off. I was so depressed and upset about that situation. There was so much drama that happened that, what do you think I did? I ended up cracking open those 13 shooters and getting absolutely obliterated. Woke up the next day, called my brother in jail. We got him out of there, and he ended up going on probation for a couple years because of that. And that's really what woke my brother up and has gotten him to the point that why he's so successful now today. That incident really woke my brother up. So that happened, and that was absolute and utter madness. I started to go to intensive outpatient programs. I was trying all these rehab programs and just failing miserably. Remember, I did one in this hospital, and at this time, some years back, I was probably like 24 at this point, 24, 25, and I went into this program, and I thought to myself that, okay, well, I'm just going to quit the drinking and I'm just going to smoke weed. And so that's what I tried to do. And the program drug tested. They ended up kicking me out of the program for that. So I failed that one miserably. Ended up joining another IOP program and thought to myself, you know what? I don't need the green anyways. I'll just get rid of that. I got this. Did that IOP program. I stayed sober for 2 months and then ended up falling off the wagon. Just let my depression and stuff get to me, and ended up falling off the wagon. Showed up there twice, completely wasted, totally disrespectful. I'm lucky I didn't get thrown out of the program right then and there, but you know, in the beginning of a relapse, I can be really good at hiding me being drunk. That only lasts for about 2 or 3 days, and then anybody and their mom is going to be able to tell how intoxicated I am. So I'm just falling deeper and deeper. I'm trying to get sober. I'm having these moments where I'm trying to get sober, and it's just not working. I failed 3 IOP groups. I failed a couple outpatient groups just because I could not stop drinking. I was, again, walking to get my booze. I didn't even have a car at this time. Going multiple hospital visits, too many to count. I couldn't even tell you guys how many times I ended up going into the hospital. I got into an extremely scary fight with my dad one night where we actually got physical. I've never gotten into a physical fight with my dad ever. And it was the first time. I had so much anger and resentment, and I hated myself. It's like I brought up in the last video, you know, drinking or really any addiction, drug addiction, it's just a very slow form of suicide. And when you have somebody with nothing to lose and someone who really doesn't care about life, you're dealing with a very dangerous individual. If you don't have hope, if you don't have something to keep your head held high and keep you striving and give you hope, you're dealing with a very dangerous individual. And so I remember I got into a physical fight with my dad, and that woke me up for a little bit. But again, I fell back into the drinking. Ended up getting in some trouble with the law because my brother, I ran into my brother one night, and ended up, I saw him and my ex together, and this giant incident went down. Ended up doing some stupid stuff, and I ended up being put on adult diversion for that. I was breaking stuff left and right. I would just get drunk, and because I was so emotional and angry, I would just start smashing things. I smashed multiple doors, just broke stuff, threw stuff. That, you know, a lot of the times I bought this stuff. It was just an absolute complete waste of money. You know, just breaking stuff just because of how angry, acting like a complete and utter child. I was hanging out with sketchy people, you know, along with all the chicks and stuff that I was hanging out with and hooking up with. I started hanging out with all these sketchy people. But what I started to realize as these years progressed is that really I was becoming the sketchy person. I no longer needed to hang out with sketchy people. I just fit right in with that crowd. And so about 25, 26, you know, at this point, so much shame, so much regret, wanting to change though, family avoiding me, you know, trying counseling, trying this, nothing working out. It's because I didn't really want it. I really didn't want to be sober, guys. And I say this all the time, and I think that anybody who has long-term sobriety could agree with me. If you don't actually want to be sober, it's just never going to work out. It doesn't matter how many programs you go to, or if you know, attend, you know, 7 AA meetings a week and multiple days of the week. None of that stuff is going to matter unless you actually have a want and a desire to quit. And that's why it wasn't working, is because I didn't really want to stop. And so around 26 years old is really when I started to, and I'm leaving a lot of stuff out just because I'm planning on making some other videos on some of the stories and stuff. I'm just giving you guys a brief run through. I'm leaving a lot of stuff out of this video. But it just, from that age to 23 to 26, I just did nothing but get wasted pretty much every single day. Unless I was in a detox center or a hospital or a rehab or some kind of jail or something, I was pretty much intoxicated every single time. And it never failed, man. It didn't matter how many, I tried to drink in responsible ways. Even some of my family gave me like a pass a little bit for drinking, which is not a good idea, but they gave me a bit of a pass and they're like, you know what, I'll drink with you because you're under so much stress. And even then, even when there was supervision, I would always ruin it. I would get completely wasted and all of my demons would just come out. Unresolved trauma, and then years and years of trauma from the drinking, because that's really kind of what it became. I was just running away from all the pain, all the destruction that I had caused. I had left this trail of just, destruction and chaos, and getting drunk was just a way that I could avoid that. I didn't want to face everything that had happened. I never even faced the stuff from my childhood, and now I'm having to face what I've caused. Alcohol addiction in general just turns us into selfish monsters. And, we do it because we feel like we need it. When you're going through that withdrawal, it feels like it's life or death, it's fight or flight, and we feel like we need to keep that madness going. But there's just no excuse for the people that we hurt, the things that we do, the stuff that we say. There's no excuse for that. And I'll never sit here and make any, oh, well, I was justified because of this. No, I was just killing myself slowly. That's all I was doing. I was spiraling out of control and dying. I was dying, man. I'd go into the hospital. They would tell me that my liver numbers were all high. I had pancreatitis. I was having all sorts of health issues, and I continued to drink. I'm lucky that I don't have chronic pancreatitis. I'm lucky that I don't have liver disease right now because I ignored all their warning signs. I remember one time my liver numbers were so high that the doctor actually thought that he was like, dude, if you continue drinking, you're going to have cirrhosis. What did I do? I got out of the hospital and I continued drinking. I did not care. I was hurt, and I only cared about the next drink. My life revolved around drinking. That's all that mattered to me. Wow, it's just crazy looking back on it. So finally, I kind of realized that I wanted to make a change. There was an actual want and desire in my heart. And from 26, for another year, I kind of went back and forth between thinking about creating a channel. I was watching a lot of Dirk Delirium at this time, Sacred Serpent. I came across LD, and I was watching all of these guys, and they were really giving me the inspiration. That, and just, I'm just getting sick and tired, man. And of course, I haven't successfully stayed sober, but things really did change at that point when I started to watch those videos, and I met some people. I started going to a Bible study. And that's the thing, man. I've always kind of been into the Bible, but I lost all that with my alcoholism. Of course, drinking for me at least, it takes me so far away from God. I'm like I'm in the devil's playground when I'm drinking, man. God leaves, another door opens, the devil enters when I'm drinking. And I tried to keep up with it, because by the time, I was like 22, 23, I started to get into it, and my ex-girlfriend never respected my views. She always kind of made fun of my views, and looking back on all of it, I think that is one good thing about me and my ex breaking up, is that we just did have so many views on different things. And of course, you know how we are as men, we think to ourselves, and it's probably some women too, we think to ourselves, well, I can change her, I'll get her to become a Christian lady and believe these things. That wasn't going to happen, especially when I wasn't setting a good example whatsoever at all. I was setting a horrible example for Christianity. But for that year, I really started to think about it. I started to look into, just something different. I started to make small changes, and eventually, about a year ago, January 11th is when I finally uploaded my very first video. And I was filming videos before that, and then I would never upload it. I've actually had channels in the past, guys. This is why I've always wanted to do something on YouTube, is because it's always been like a passion of mine. It was a dream of mine just to be able to sit down and talk about something that I'm passionate about. And so eventually I made that video, I uploaded it, and this is where, now a year later, this is where we are now, guys. You pretty much have seen everything that's taken place in this last year, and that's what led up to, well, where I am now. Again, guys, I'll probably one day completely remake this video in one take because I did leave so much out of it, but I did want to cover and make this second part to the video. Yeah, man, this last year, it's this last year, and you guys have seen it. And of course I've failed, of course I've relapsed, but this last year has been the most serious I've been ever about sobriety. There is a real want. There is a real want to change. I don't want to be that horrible person anymore. That's not who I am. That's not who Slayer is at his heart. And alcohol really destroyed and tarnished my reputation, and just, who I really am as a person. Of course, there is that side of me. That is me. Even that intoxicated version of me, even if it's demon possession or whatever, that's still me. So that side of me is there, and that's scary, but deep down inside, that's not who I am. And I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't. That's my alter ego. That's the evil Slayer that nobody wants to be around. Nobody wants to be around that Slayer. And I'm ready to change. Through all the ups and downs, guys, I'm finally there at my breaking point where I've just had enough. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this to myself. I can't keep doing this to my family. I can't keep doing this to you guys. I've said it before, if I just keep relapsing on this channel, one day you're just never going to see me again. Because one, I either didn't make it out the relapse, or I just have given up on YouTube, because I'm not just going to get on here and relapse over and over and over again. It's not going to happen. That's not productive for anybody. I really do want to change, and I want to turn everything around. And that's why I created this channel, because I feel like for all the bad that I did, if I could just help one person out there, turn away from this, save relationships, save themselves from all the pain and the turmoil, then I feel like I've done something good. And that's all that matters to me. I go through ups and downs every single day. I suffer from anxiety problems, panic attacks on a daily basis, man. And of course, that's going to get better the further along in my sobriety that I stay. But it's like I suffer from a lot of problems. I can blow up. Life isn't easy, but it's a heck of a lot easier than working that full-time job being an alcoholic, because it is a full-time job. And it's a full-time job that will 100% guarantee kill you. So no more, guys, no more. So I think I'm just going to end the video here, guys. Again, I'm sorry that if I missed anything. I know I missed a lot. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't seen that part 1, please go check that part 1 out, covering the ages of 18 to 23. Really just from 23 to where I am now, about until last year, it was just drink more, incident, problem. And that's what it was for years, guys. And like I said, I'm not that person. I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be a productive member of society. I want to help people, and I want to make a difference in this life. I want to be someone that I can look at and be proud of. I want to be someone that my parents can look at and be proud of, that God can look at and be proud of. An example for others to follow, instead of, a drunken, mad lunatic, because that's what I become when I drink, guys. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I will be back in just a couple of days, or probably, I don't know, I'll be back in a few days. I already know what my next video is going to be. It's probably going to be the one on January 11th, but my 1-year anniversary, but I might make a video before that. It just depends. we'll see how things go. So with that said, guys, I love you. Please, guys, if you're drinking, seek some help. If you're thinking about drinking, don't. It's not worth it. You'll end up drinking, and then in a week, 2 weeks, you'll be looking back and thinking, why the fuck did I do that? Why did I do that? With nothing but regret and shame. Excuse me, guys. So please don't do that. Reach out. Make that first step. Stay sober. We take it one day at a time. That's what we do here. We take it one day at a time. We take things slow, and we have to. Thinking too much in the future will mess us up. Thinking too much in the past will mess us up. We only got today. We got right now. So let's choose to be sober. I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay sober. I'll be back real soon. And yeah, man. Peace.